Be moved and inspired, act righteously and uphold the truth, firmly believe in cause and effect, and the world will be at peace. These few words of his truly, without a doubt, have the power to save all sentient beings in the 9,000 years of the Dharma-ending age. The following scripture says, if you seek a definite reward for improper destruction and use, you will not get it. This is what we usually refer to as the suffering of not getting what you seek, one of the great sufferings. You seek, but why can't you get it? There's a reason for it. Improper. This means, as we'd say today, something that's illegal, unreasonable, or lacking in compassion. Unconscionable use of the law. What does destroyer mean? It's destroyed. User means the enjoyment or benefit you receive, the pleasure you get. All the enjoyment you have today, whether material or spiritual, is unreasonable, illegal, and unreasonable. Then the result you'll get later is dissatisfaction, the suffering of not getting what you want. If you are not arrogant, you will be punished, humiliated, and treated as a slave. Arrogance and pride. The result you get is to become lowly or looked down upon. These days, in our society, it's pretty obvious. As you might expect, when someone has power and status, they often, perhaps inevitably, become quite arrogant and overbearing. But in the blink of an eye, if they lose that position, they have to settle for a small, menial job just to get by. Their status drops straight away, and they end up being bossed around by others. That's karma, retribution in this very life. You don't even have to wait for the next one. We see this a lot in society now. Someone finally climbs up to a high position, but when an economic crisis hits, they are made redundant and lose everything. Then they have to find a small job just to make ends meet, taking orders from others. If you look closely at different places around the world now, you'll see this a lot. In many situations, people simply don't understand humility or dignity. Those in higher positions should always show respect to the staff below them. You can't boss people around or you'll face consequences later. If you're stirring up arguments and conflict, that's the karmic result of past evil deeds. This refers to provoking and inciting others to fight, causing discord between both sides. There are a lot of people who commit this kind of wrongdoing. Their aim is to benefit themselves from the situation. They stir up conflict between the two sides, provoke disputes and disagreements, and create arguments. This kind of karmic result, as we have mentioned earlier, clearly falls under the category of verbal karma. Harsh and malicious speech all leads to hell, which is why it's called the 8 wrong hells. After suffering the consequences in hell, when you're reborn, you'll still have to endure the results. There's the beginningless hell, the evil world, and you'll continue to face this karma. If one has wrong views, he will be reborn in a certain place. Wrong knowledge and wrong views. The karmic result of wrong views also depends on the extent of the actions, whether it's serious or minor. If their wrong views only affect a few people, the consequences are lighter. But if these wrong views influence many people and persist for a long time, then the consequences are much more severe. So someone asked me, for those with wrong views and wrong understanding, the things they write, their articles, the books they publish, which mislead sentient beings, will they fall into hell in the future, and when will they be able to get out? I told him, and this is also based on what's said in the Buddhist scriptures, only when not a single copy of those books exists in this world anymore, can they be released from hell. If there's still a copy left in some library, then that's bad news. They still can't get out. So from this, you see, the more widely their works are printed, the worse it is, the heavier their sin, the more people they influence, and the longer the impact lasts. The offense becomes more serious. That's why we need to be careful with what we say. If there's a recording, it means having a book. Only when your recording is gone can you get out of hell. If someone disturbs the dust, you're in trouble. You just won't be able to escape hell. The ancients often said, illness enters through the mouth, and trouble comes out of the mouth, and it's absolutely true. That's why the Bodhisattva teaches us, say one word less, recite the Buddha's name one more time. Others talking, best we can't hear them clearly. Say, Amitabha Buddha. Just that one phrase is better than anything else. Why is there no need to listen? Because it's all meaningless. Apart from Amitabha Buddha, everything else is pointless, so why bother listening? Just honestly recite the Buddha's name, and you'll definitely be reborn in the Pure Land. Listening to all this gossip and idle chatter will definitely trap you in the cycle of rebirth, increasing your own negative karma. It's just not worth it. Being born in the borderlands refers to what we now call culturally underdeveloped areas. Borderlands. If you're born in a culturally backward place in this life, in most cases, you won't have the chance to get an education. How could you not end up ignorant? Ignorance will definitely lead to committing wrongdoings. The consequences of such evil actions are frightening. Let's see a passage from the Sutra. The Bodhisattva gives us a summary here. Such as these refers to all the things mentioned above. And there are, in fact, quite literally far too many to count. I will now briefly explain the karma of body, speech and mind, the results of bad habits and the corresponding retribution of Lotus Buddha. In summary, this is a brief summary. This section discusses all the impure actions of intention, which are actions that arise from deliberate thought and are not considered pure or virtuous, committed by sentient beings, that is, all living creatures who possess consciousness and awareness in the context. Actions of body, speech, and mind, we are creating them every single day. The body commits acts like killing and stealing. I haven't killed, but eating meat daily is still killing. I haven't killed, just eating meat. If you didn't eat meat, would others still kill animals? Don't believe in cause and effect. Harm themselves. Karma huge. In the past, back in our village, we'd only slaughter 1 pig a month. The person who did the slaughtering would chant mantras to the pig before killing it, telling it, "Pig, pig, don't blame me. You're just a dish for people. If they didn't want to eat you, I wouldn't have to kill you. If you want to eat, you'll have to pay back the debt in your next life." See, he was pretty clever. The butcher would shift the blame for this serious sin onto the people eating the meat. If you want to eat, you'll have to pay back the debt in your next life, right? Because you eat meat, he kills the animal. If you didn't eat meat, he wouldn't kill it. When pigs eat meat, that's a more advanced way of killing. But we are still creating the karma of killing every day. There's really no way to avoid this karmic retribution. There are 4 types of verbal karma: lying, divisive speech, harsh words, and frivolous talk. One done thee. Karma is full of greed, anger, and ignorance. So when we look at the world today, why does society get more chaotic every year? Disasters are increasing year by year. The real reason is that all beings are born from karma, and bad karma just keeps increasing year after year. That's why it's truly frightening. You can't stop it, let alone clearing karmic obstacles. How could you do that? It increases every day. How could there not be consequences? Bad habits lead to bad outcomes. Born from karma, we commit 10 evil deeds. As these bad habits and karma accumulate, the consequences appear right before us. Natural disasters, man-made calamities, landslides, and such. That's how these things come about. Those hundreds and thousands of retributions, here, hundreds and thousands isn't a number. It means countless, boundless consequences. What we mentioned earlier was just a small part. If we truly want to break free from the 3 realms in this lifetime, indeed, where should we start to change? We must start by changing our hearts. Our minds need to be completely good. Listen without any mistakes. What kind of mistakes? Errors and slip-ups. This is the absolute simplest thing. Don't think that. No improper thoughts. This is the mind's core. Even if it feels a bit forced, it's still called practicing. Whatever the Buddha teaches us to do in this life, we should earnestly and diligently do it. And for what the Buddha says we shouldn't do, we shouldn't even let the thought arise. Only then can we truly save ourselves. Only then can we really be confident, even if in this life we don't get reborn in the Pure Land, or don't seek rebirth in the Pure Land. In the next life we'll definitely enjoy blessings as humans or gods. We won't fall into the 3 lower realms. Even if today we don't commit any bad deeds with our words or actions, our minds still harbor evil thoughts and wrong intentions. Let me tell you, you are on your way to high school. So, in the past, the great masters and virtuous teachers taught us to cultivate from the root. What is the root? Our thoughts are the root. If you like falling into the 3 evil paths and suffering endless hardships, then by all means, you can keep holding onto those evil thoughts and wrong intentions. If you feel that the suffering of the 3 lower realms across countless lifetimes is terrifying and dreadful, and you don't want to endure it, then you should start correcting your thoughts from today. The Sutra of the original vows of Kittagarbha Bodhisattva is a benchmark. For Pure Land practitioners, why do we recite chapters 32 to 37 of the Infinite Life Sutra during evening practice? Because what is taught there matches the Kittagarbha Sutra. That is the standard for awakening. You really can't afford not to know this. Enlightenment must be cut off, even if it cannot be cut off. There's simply no other way but to cut them off. If you don't, you'll definitely fall into hell. Be clear, if you don't cut them, you go to hell. There's no other path you can take. After coming out of hell, you'll have to endure all the consequences described in the sutras. If you want to avoid falling into hell, to be free from birth and death in this lifetime, to transcend the 3 realms, and to be reborn in the Pure Land, you absolutely have to do it. There's no 2 ways about it. If they act, it's nothing to do with me. On the path of cultivation, the Buddhas and ancestors have made it very clear and very straightforward. Everyone is responsible. Birth and death each resolves. No one can do it for anyone. You only reap what you cultivate. Without effort, you gain nothing. What to repair? Change your mind. That's true cultivation. If you change your heart, then your actions will naturally follow. If your actions look the part but your heart hasn't changed, it won't work. Salvation from sin starts from the heart. That's right, you really need to understand this principle. Now, looking at the next section, for all the sentient beings in Jambudva, with all their differences, Kittagarbha Bodhisattva uses various skillful means to teach and transform them. Earlier, it talked about creating karma. In the previous section, honestly, it's just that the sentient beings in Jambudva are stubborn and hard to transform. Kittagarbha Bodhisattva understands this. We read in this sutra that the Bodhisattva understands, and now we understand too. We should follow the example of Kittagarbha Bodhisattva and learn from him. Just like the Bodhisattva, we should use all sorts of skillful means to teach sentient beings. What are the words? It means that when sentient beings accept the teachings, they are able to turn back, stop doing bad things, and head towards goodness. Words, This transformation is the result of teaching. Teaching is the cause, and transformation is the effect. It means transforming evil thoughts into good ones, and turning afflictions into enlightenment. Transforming ordinary people into bodhisattvas. If we achieve this in our teaching, then we've truly reached our goal and seen real results. This is something we absolutely must learn. Now, let's look at the next passage from the Sutra. All these sentient beings first receive such retributions, and afterwards fall into hell, remaining there for countless ages, with no set time for release. Here, the Buddha is speaking frankly. The retributions mentioned in the Sutra, those experienced in this life and the transformed retributions, after death, one will definitely end up in hell. When will they be able to get out? It will take countless ages. Earlier, it was explained to us countless kalpas, with no set time for release. A set time for release would mean there's definitely an end. Why say nothing? Because it's far too long. It's not something you can get out of in a short period. That's why, for this very reason, the Buddha thoughtfully advised the four great heavenly kings. The four great heavenly kings made a solemn vow to protect, to safeguard the world. You all protect people and protect the nation, and you must not, under any circumstances, help create karmic actions that confuse sentient beings. In Master King Ming's insightful commentary, there's a particular line that says, of course, is also basing this on what the Buddha himself said in the ancient sutras. In the sutra, specifically the old Parable Sutra, it's clearly mentioned, this was spoken by Shakyamuni Buddha himself, that 61,000 years in the human world is, astonishingly, equivalent to just one single day in hell. In the past, the late layman Li Binnan, when giving Buddhist lectures at universities, spoke to university students about hell, saying that one day in hell is equivalent to 2,700 years in the human world. This is all based on reliable sources. The 2,700 years probably refers to the minor hells. It's minor hells. Talk about it and you'll scare people. Now, in this sutra, the Buddha says that one day in hell is 610,000 years in our human world. In ancient India, the term yi, meaning 100 million, actually had three different meanings. On certain occasions, it meant 100,000, at other times it meant 1,000,000, and at yet other times, it could mean 10 million. Let's use the smallest calculation and take yi as 100,000. So 60 times 610,000 years. Then multiply that by 10. That's just one day in our world. So, can you really afford to end up in hell? This is talking about the Avicii hell, the unceasing hell, which lasts for such an incredibly long time. It's actually very easy for us to commit the kind of offenses that lead to hell. If you commit them now, how will you ever get rid of the suffering you'll have to endure in the future? In this sutra, the Buddha instructs the four heavenly kings to protect the country and its people, and not to let all sorts of evil deeds in the world confuse and mislead sentient beings. After hearing this, first of all, we really need to reflect on ourselves. Let me tell you, self-reflection should be a daily practice. In Buddhism, there are set morning and evening practices. I'll put it this way. The morning practice is to remind yourself, and the evening practice is for self-reflection. In the mornings and evenings, or when reciting the Turning Sutra, you should seriously reflect. Have you done what the scriptures teach us to do? And for the things we are told not to do, have we broken those rules? This is what it really means to do your morning and evening practice. If you just treat it as reading the sutra once for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to hear, that's wrong. Why would the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas want to listen to that? It's said that before saving others, you must first save yourself. If you don't create bad karma yourself, and you are certain you won't fall into the 3 lower realms, only then will you have the ability to help others. If you can't even look after yourself and try to help others, you'll just make things worse. So we must first make sure we've got our own footing steady, and absolutely not fall. And we need to have firm confidence that we will definitely be reborn in the Pure Land. Not just that, we must ensure we can pass freely. Why are we so sure? Because your karmic obstacles have lessened. How to remove them? By not having a single evil thought in your mind. If there isn't a single wrong intention in your mind, you can be confident. When you die, you avoid illness. Right now, you don't have any pain or illness, and when you pass on, there won't be any suffering from illness as a result of karma. Why is it that others can do it, but we can't? The reason they can do it is nothing else but this. They have no evil thoughts in their mind, no wrong intentions. It's just that simple. Upon hearing this, the 4 heavenly kings burst into tears and lamented, crying loudly. After the world-honored one gave them this teaching, the 4 heavenly kings listened and shed tears, sighing with sorrow. There are 2 reasons for their sorrow. First, they lamented that sentient beings' karmic evils and wrongdoings are too heavy and deep. They felt too responsible. If we want to help sentient beings, we must first help ourselves. Alright, that's all for today. We'll stop here.
Buddhist philosophy and various practices.
Whips.
Gone.